Thanks for staying with us. Now, with us in the studio this hour to dwell more on the theme for World Population Day is Dr. MAIRO Mandara. Thanks for joining us in the studio.
Thank you very much.
All right, can you walk us through the theme for this year's World Population Day?
As you heard yesterday, the theme of this year's World Population Day is centered around addressing the needs of the current situation, and it is family planning, birth spacing, empowering people, and developing nations. So it's using family planning and child spacing as a tool to empower people and to develop nations. So this is the theme of the World Population Day this year.
All right, now, child spacing and family planning is the central focus, right? Mm-hmm. How does this transcend to reducing poverty amongst family?
Now, child spacing connotes having children when the family is ready and the family is all set to take care of not just that baby, but the upbringing of that baby. So in essence, what family planning does is that it ensures that you not only have children, but you have children that you can cater for.
Right.
So that on its own, ultimately gives you, it's almost a planning tool. It plans for the life of the child, it plans for the life of the family, it plans for the development of the country, and it plans for the wealth of the nation.
Okay. Of course, the population in Nigeria is over like 180 million people. Mm-hmm. Now, how are the women, especially those living in the rural area, being educated about how to go about spacing their families and, you know, doing this family planning?
What we do to ensure that women in rural areas and women that need the most have the information they need to get family planning is through ensuring that all service provision points have family planning. If you remember, every single village will at least have a dispensary or a health post, which is just one room where women go to for services, all kinds of services. Those areas should always have family planning. Secondly, medical vendors, these chemists that everybody goes to, should have family planning. And finally, we have community health workers, village health workers who go from family to family, from house to house, educating people. They also carry family planning. But importantly, we're an oral society. Nigeria is an oral society. We like to listen to radio.
Yeah.
So making sure that messages on family planning is well understood in radio, so that women know that they have options. But for us to be able to get this, everybody has to step up the game. Government at state, local government, and federal level has to make sure that enough money is budgeted. So much so that the most tiny family planning where you can get a health facility where you can get a plaster, you should be able to get family planning service. Secondly, I think there's also a big responsibility on you guys, the media people, to be able to educate people. You have a captive audience in the television, in radio, in social media.
Right.
You also have a responsibility. So what I'm saying is that the health of women and the quality of our population and how women are able to access family planning should not be left to the government alone. It's a responsibility that everybody has. If for example, in this discussion, a woman, a market woman, hears about what we're discussing about the benefits of family planning, the value of family planning in improving lives, it's her job to tell her neighbors. It's her job to also share within the community that she works in or that she operates. And that for me is what I mean by stepping up the game and making it a national emergency.
Okay. All right. So does the world population really worry you? Vis-a-vis resources available, more so with the advancement in technology?
The rate of population growth in the world is very, very worrying. Nigeria is one of the highest growing countries with with population growth rate of about 3.2, and if we go at the rate at which we're going in this country, we're the 10th most populous. We'll be the 3rd most populous country in the world. Now, the rule of the game now in the world, how you excel, how you become a game player, how you become recognized, is the quality of your people. Now, that we're the 10th, or we're going to be the 3rd in 33 years, is not something to be proud of if we don't have quality. The quality of the people, and with technology now, is our people technologically savvy? Are we up to the game? I mean, just Ghana recently launched a space machine, just Ghana next door. And we're still looking at areas with no pipe-borne water. We're still looking at children dying of diarrhea. We're still looking at children dying of pneumonia. We still have neglected tropical diseases. There's some diseases, schistosomiasis. Some people have never heard of it. We still have. So for me, when you look at population in Nigeria, I get worried when I hear people talk of the quantity. The quantity is not important. What is important is the quality. If you take a very good example now, is actually a very interesting example, is Israel. Israel now rules the world. But what's the population of Jews? They're extremely qualitative. This is what matters. And for me as a mother, I also worry when people have children that they can't cater for. You can't feed, you can't educate, you can't clothe, and you let them on the street, or you get a 5-7-year-old child hawking. I think it's not okay. It's just morally not okay. So for me, the issue of population is not a government issue. Government cannot determine how many children I have. I will need to determine how many children I have. Government cannot determine which school I should send my children to. My husband and I have to decide that. Yeah. Government cannot decide how we bring up our children. My husband and I have to decide how we bring up our children. So this, for me, is the issue. And you and I are discussing here, we're discussing in English. Probably 70% of the population don't even understand what you and I are talking. Right. And so therefore, those of us that are opportuned to have some education have double responsibility, to have to take it back to our localities and discuss the same issues in our native dialects, in our mother tongues, in the context in which people understand and make sense.
Yeah. All right. So Nigeria, being the largest country in Africa and the 7th in the world, how can we convert population to strength?
The best way to convert population to strength, in my opinion, is to invest in the sectors that create human capital. Education. That's one. We also need to invest in sectors that produces wealth, technical skills, ability for people to be able to create wealth, for example, and also really cut down on dependency on government. I mean, just yesterday at that event, I saw about 10 young people who just stepped up to me in just one event and talked to me. They all graduate. Some of them have masters. They're really very, very brainy. And they're all waiting to be employed by government. Come on, stop it. You can make pure water. When a graduate makes pure water, it's going to be different from when somebody on the street makes pure water.
Definitely.
When a graduate decides to be a cleaner, it's going to be different from when somebody who is not educated is a cleaner. I have a friend in the US. She has a master's. She just loves to clean. And that's her job. She goes to houses. By the time she finishes cleaning your house, you actually don't want to sit on any of your chairs because you feel you will disturb. She's making money. So what's your passion? Follow your passion, believe in yourself, and create wealth. The government needs to create an enabling environment, but young people need to take their future into their hands, and that's the way to actually turn this massive population that we have to give us population dividend. Because without the quality, without the skills, without the income generation, and without a foresight for the future, if we're all thinking today, it won't work.
Yeah.
And I think the opportunity for us now, we've never had a better opportunity than now. Why do I say so? Because the fiscal crunch, the lack of money, the low government revenue, everybody's pocket is tight. This is the best time to actually excel. This is the best time to cut on costs. It's only in Nigeria you find somebody who earns 10,000 naira buying a dress of 25,000 naira. I mean, it's only in Nigeria you see that. Or somebody take half of their earning and do Owambe, just one night. We just need to rethink. We need to refocus. We need to re-strategize. Because unfortunately, whether we do it or we don't, the world will move on. The world will not wait for us. The world will move on.
All right, then. Thank you so much for coming into the studio to enlighten us more on world population today.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
All right. So heading back to the news, we'll go on a short break. More stories when we come back.